It's time to get back into doing some campaign ad reactions for 2025. The two big ones are going to be Governor of New Jersey, and today we're going to do Virginia. And I've been doing this every election year. We're going to go through 3 ads for each side for Virginia Governor. We'll play them, we'll critique them, we'll see how effective they are. These are straight from their YouTube channels. I try to pick a variety for both candidates. So we're going to start with the incumbent party. That is going to be Winsome Sears, the Republican. Let's get into it.
4 years ago, we rejected career politicians and sent a message: move Virginia forward. But Abigail Spanberger is a Washington insider who voted with Pelosi and Biden every single time. That kind of beltway nonsense will only take us backwards. I'm Winsome Earle-Sears. Governor Youngkin put us on the right path. Now I'm asking for your vote to keep it that way. I'm Winsome Earle-Sears, candidate for governor, and I sponsored this ad.
All right, that was from Sears, or now I seem to only hear Earle-Sears, but either way, she is the lieutenant governor. She puts out this kind of mild, inoffensive ad. The music is a little bit cheesy, but in the substance, she shows herself on screen, talking to the camera, not overly charismatic, but she also doesn't do any damage. She goes on a little bit of an attack, hitting Spanberger on her close ties to Biden and Pelosi. That's fair, but given Biden is out of office right now, I think that's going to land a lot less. So she paints Spanberger as kind of an insider, she emphasizes the word right, and she of course is going to tie herself here to current Governor Glenn Youngkin, who is reasonably popular. So there's nothing too special about this ad, but again, she doesn't do any damage either. Let's go to the first ad here from Abigail Spanberger, the challenger.
Winsome Earle-Sears is telling Virginians that we've got a good thing going. What exactly are those good things?
The state's unemployment rate has now risen for 7 straight months.
Virginians are struggling to afford groceries as prices statewide continue to rise.
Augusta Medical Group is closing 3 locations, partly in response to health care cuts under President Trump's big, beautiful bill.
The cuts mean 300,000 Virginians could lose their health insurance.
Posing a serious risk to rural hospitals.
We've got a better choice. Abigail Spanberger. She has real plans to lower costs for housing, healthcare, and energy. Early voting has begun. Vote today. Spanberger for governor. Service, country, Commonwealth.
All right, this is kind of your basic kitchen table kind of ad. It's hitting Sears on unemployment, inflation, and healthcare. 3 highly important issues that are going to be a big factor in this race. They also lay on the suspenseful music. They've got a bunch of quick cuts, and it tries to indicate there's nothing really positive about the Youngkin administration. Of course, depending on what you want to focus on, there's going to be positives and negatives in any state for any candidate. But this ad is going to be effective because Trump is in the White House. Of course, she would not have put out this ad under Biden during the spike with any of those economic concerns. But she says she has a plan just like everybody else does. Given that she's not currently in office, this ad is going to be more effective than not. That's just the way it goes. So not too bad here. Let's go to the second ad for Winsome Sears, and you know we're going to hit up that J. Jones scandal. Here it is.
I'm Winsome Earle-Sears, candidate for governor, and I sponsored this ad.
J. Jones says he wants to put 2 bullets in a political opponent.
Let your rage fuel you.
Jones says he hopes an opponent's children die.
Let your rage fuel you.
Now, Spanberger continues to support Jones.
We deserve an attorney general who will stand up for the people of Virginia.
Abigail Spanberger. She stands with him, not us.
Okay, this is the big recent story, the big scandal for the Attorney General, J. Jones, the Democrat. He's running for that office. Anybody in politics is going to use anything they can, and Sears is right to do so in this case. She's trying to tie it to Spanberger. Now, generally, I don't think that sticks much because it's a totally different person. But I think few people disagree that what Jones did was completely unacceptable. And the reason this is going to be Sears' most effective ad is because Spanberger did totally wipe out on handling this. She gave such a standard politician answer, knowing that if she calls on him to drop out, then they're definitely going to lose that race. If she kind of weasels her way around it and says that it's his decision or the voters' decision, then there's a chance he could still pull it out and she doesn't have to look like she has any responsibility. So this ad is solid. It doesn't go way over the top, but it does show Spanberger saying, let your rage fuel you. Not a good look when you juxtapose it with the substance of this ad. So not a bad one here for Sears. Let's go to Spanberger's ad number 2.
MAGA Republican Winsome Earle-Sears. Sometimes it seems like she just can't stop.
Ms. Earle-Sears, Ms. Spanberger is talking. Please let her finish. Ms. Earle-Sears,
anyone.
please.
Ms. Earle-Sears, Virginia's voter
standard.
And I'm here if you're talking over Ms. Spanberger.
Excuse me, Ms. Sears. Please don't interrupt.
I am speaking.
You
Ms. Earle-Sears,
I am speaking.
Ms. Earle-Sears.
I am speaking.
We know you're speaking, and we've heard enough. Winsome Earle-Sears. So far right, she's wrong for Virginia.
All right, this ad comes out and labels Sears as MAGA. It's probably not a bad play considering the state and the national environment. The little line here at the end I think is a little too corny, that she's so far right, she's wrong for Virginia. And there's some more goofy music playing throughout, but the meat of this ad I think is pretty solid. And Sears did take a complete dump during that debate, constantly interrupting over and over. Even if she had some good points mixed in there, it was just going to be too off-putting if you wanted to try to follow the substance. It shows Sears as kind of unhinged, and Spanberger is going to be stable, even though Spanberger's not really in this ad. And all those other cuts of Sears saying, I am speaking at some sort of an event, that's an unflattering moment. Of course, it looks bad when you splice it into this kind of an attack ad. So this ad, I think, is also pretty reasonable from Spanberger. We're going to go to the final ad now for Sears. Let's do it.
I'm Winsome Earle-Sears, candidate for governor, and I sponsored this ad.
How radical is Abigail Spanberger? She didn't just vote to let men in girls' locker rooms. She wrote the bill. Spanberger believes this man has the right to undress next to little girls. But it gets worse. If a child wants to change genders, Spanberger says the parents shouldn't be told. That's insane. Radical Abigail Spanberger is for they, them, not us.
This one is going to hit up the cultural issues, and this is kind of reminiscent of the Trump ad that he put out attacking Harris. So assuming the ad is more or less accurate, those issues I do think are going to be more favorable for Sears. However, there are other issues out there that might be more important. That's why the effectiveness of this one is going to be limited. But it has that ominous feel to it, and it even shows Spanberger here at the end wearing a rainbow mask. That's supposed to take us back to the pandemic and how Spanberger might have went over the top at the time. So I don't think it's a bad ad at all. I just think it's going to be a little bit more limited given the entire dynamic. And here comes the final ad from Team Spanberger. Let's dive in.
As I travel across the Commonwealth,
Abigail Spanberger kicked off her statewide bus tour.
every corner of Virginia, the story is the same.
The costs for families across Virginia in housing, in healthcare, in energy, every day just gets a little harder.
So we've got tough challenges that can't be solved in 30-second ads, but I've rolled out plans and I'm ready to get to work to lower costs. And that's what I'll do as governor.
Spanberger for governor. Service, country, Commonwealth.
Okay, this is kind of similar to the first one from Sears. It's more mild. It doesn't try to do too much. It's a little lighter, and it talks about some of those basic issues, and Spanberger has a plan to tackle them. Healthcare, cost of living, those are issues that are currently going to favor the party out of power and play to the strength of the Dems. So there wasn't too many ads that Spanberger was directly in. This was one of them. I think her charisma is a little higher than Sears, but it's nothing too spectacular. So that's kind of it for this ad. She's touring the state like all politicians tend to do. And that's where we're at on these ads for Virginia governor. I try to put up some different ones, and overall, they're both effective enough for what they're trying to do. But the effectiveness, I think, is going to break just a little bit towards Spanberger because she's the party out of power here. And Sears comes off as a little bit more unstable than Spanberger. They both have their issues. They both try to tackle those in these ads. So good stuff here, and that's going to wrap it up for this ad reaction for Virginia governor. So let me know in the comments, what do you think about any of these 6 ads? Which side do you think was more effective? Were there other ads that you think were even more notable? Let me know your thoughts down below on your way out. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Join if you'd like to support the channel. Hit the bell for notifications. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.